Hi people, Marino Ravenberg here. This is a spur of the moment or run of the mill live stream that I decided to host. And in it, I'm going to discuss something that's not exactly popular within the occult world, specifically astrology. I've got mail. Yeah, specifically astrology. The thing is that a lot of people they're not too keen on astrology because people in general want superficial things, things that they can directly benefit from, whether it's love, sex, money, you name it. This is the mundane, run of the mill stuff that people want, spiritual ascension, all of those things. And astrology can't offer you stuff like this directly. By the way, this is not going to be a long live stream. I need to point that out as well. It's going to be a relatively short live stream because there's not a lot else that I have to say. The reason for me primarily hosting this live stream is that compared to all the stuff I sell, for example, the courses and so on, the occult course sells the most by far. I think I've only sold like two or three. I've only sold the astrological course two or three times, and it doesn't bum me out. But personally speaking, I simply find it a shame and or a pity that people simply don't take more interest in astrology because I honestly wouldn't be able to live without it. That's also why I was, well, not by coincidence, it's all meant to be, etc., of course, but generally speaking, I started out as an astrologer first, and I'm not going to deny anything, okay? It is true that, of course, occultism, as in working with spirits and energy and all of that stuff, does offer you practical benefits, as in the benefits are practical. You can make use of it, etc. It can get you the things you want directly, things of an everyday nature, things that you need in everyday life to get by, as well as things that are not so common, rare things. But what people overlook is the fact that astrology brings a lot of practical benefits with it that can, although they're not direct, they're indirect, can help lead to direct matters. Okay, and that's why I do. Of course, for people that are seriously interested, I do strongly recommend that people buy my astrological course. This is not just me promoting myself. I literally mean what I say. And if you're, for example, not interested or willing to go through the trouble of learning everything, go through the course material, then you can always approach me for any kind of inquiry or any kind of reading that you want, because that's something that people overlook, and it's simply something that doesn't sink in with people. It doesn't sink in, as in this is like the spiritual version of a weather forecast. If you're someone that, for example, deals with a lot of stuff on a day-to-day basis, you're someone that needs stuff in day-to-day life. You need things like you need to know this, you need to know that. You're someone that, for example, the same way that a meteorologist or someone that gives away weather reports, for that person the weather forecast is unmissable. The science behind weather forecasting is simply priceless. In that same vein, okay, astrology, specific divination overall, but specifically astrology is priceless. It's simply priceless, because without astrology, I wouldn't even be half as good as I am now in terms of skill and benefits. And even if you're in terms of skill and results, and even if you're, let's just say, you're more of a run of the mill kind of person, you're a mundane person, then astrology can still benefit you. Okay, that's what the majority of charts I cast are astrological or orary charts. Orary is simply an event chart. So if you want to know something, it gives you an overview. The same way that if you want to go out, for example, you'll take a look at the weather forecast so that you have an idea at the very least, as in what the weather is going to look like. Hey, is it going to be dry weather? Is it going to rain? Is there going to be a thunderstorm? Is it going to snow? Is there going to be hail, etc., etc., etc.? And it's the same thing, okay? The same thing with astrology. With every move you make, even if you're not an occultist, so let alone if you're an occultist, but even if you're not an occultist, you're simply a run-of-the-mill person, and you come across serious situations that you want to know the outcome to, it's simply priceless. Okay, instead of just flying blind, For example, you want to buy a house, you can actually simply cast a chart and you'll have an overview, as in, is it a good idea to buy the house? You're doing business with someone, a business associate, you want to know how that person feels about you. One of the tremendous benefits is that you can actually look inside someone's head, so to speak. A trait a lot of people wish they had. That way you can avoid a bunch of pitfalls. Okay. Simple example is you have a business associate, the guy's setting you up for some kind of fraud. He's intending on hosting some kind of Ponzi scheme to screw you over, to deceive you. And when you were to actually use divination as an astrology specifically, then you'll get the complete overview of it. You'll see exactly, oh, okay, this person is trying to screw me over. These are his intentions. This is the way the guy feels about me. No, and then you can actually take appropriate actions as opposed to just flying blind. Because without astrology, for example, without divination, then you'd simply walk head first, honestly, into a trap that's set up for you. And what's going to happen? The guy's going to swindle you. That so called business associate is going to swindle you for a good amount of money. And you're going to be left scratching your head and saying to yourself, oh, look at this nonsense. See? And now you find yourself in a predicament. Imagine coming across 10 of those situations in a year compared with astrology and without astrology. Just envision a column, if you will, with astrology to the left and without astrology to the right. Look at how many times how many times things would have gone wrong or not even remotely well for you. Compared to with astrology, the things that you'd be able to do things. You'd be able to see things coming. Okay, you could see it coming from a mile away, and you can take appropriate action that way. That's the beauty of it. Let alone if you're an occultist. If you're an occultist or you're someone that summons spirits, then yeah, it's unmissable, of course. Because if you're an occultist, you summon spirits, you work with energies, you have no idea what to expect. You're not just going to host a ritual, you have no idea what's going on, what the spirit that you actually set out there, whether he indeed is proficient at what he does. It just goes on. The very stuff that's very basic for me is simply unmistakable without astrology specifically. I wouldn't be able to cope with it. Without astrology, realistically envisioned, I would simply be what? I'd be summoning spirits blindly. I'd have no idea whether these spirits can actually do what they claim to be doing. I would not know what the outcome of a situation would be. It's simply flying blind and what? Hoping for the best? No, 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 no. I'm definitely not making do with that. I'm not hoping for anything. Okay, I ain't hoping for shit. Bottom line is that it's always good to have an overview, as in specifically knowing exactly what you're getting yourself into. I mean, even for me, stuff like this is also mundane using the weather forecast. All the times that I go out, usually I check the weather. I want to know exactly how many degrees it is, how hot it is, how cold it is, whether I want to go outside, whether it's a good idea. Okay, if the place that I intend on traveling to, if it's going to rain there, you name it, so that I have a general idea. Yeah, sure, the weather forecast isn't always correct, but it's correct at least 8 out of 10 times. And with astrology, even more so. Okay, it's practically I don't want to say literally foolproof, but metaphorically speaking, it's foolproof. If if for example you do a reading and it turns out that it's incorrect, then that's due to uncommon factors. That's due to that's due to highly exceptional situations where some other factor comes into play that astrology either excludes or overlooks. But in general, not even 9 out of 10 times, 99 out of 100 times, it is correct and it's right on the nose, right on the mark. I mean, it's really just. And yeah, for that reason, I simply can't imagine my life without astrology. Even for mundane decisions, I simply cast a chart. I want to know exactly, whether it's a good idea to do this, to do that. It's a good idea for every simple thing I did. I bought this. I bought a vehicle. I wanted to know if it was a good idea and if it was going to benefit me. And yeah, I got a proper overview in the sense that yeah, it's gonna be worth it, and it was really worth it. The exact way that my own readings described for me. And that's the case in general. Even as an occultist, I work with spirits. Boom. I want to know what the forecast is going to be. As in, okay, what's the result? What can I expect from these guys? And yeah, boom, I got it. I literally got it. Okay. and the things turned out the exact way that my reading said it was going to. So yeah, regardless of whether you're a magical practitioner or not, it's a real shame that that people don't make use of astrology more often. It's a real shame. I for the rest, I don't really know what to say. I understand people's reasons or motivation for why there is a lack of interest compared to other occult work, but still, there. My point is there shouldn't be. I understand that. Yeah, like I said in the beginning before, people. The thing is that occult work will get you practical results, things that you need in everyday life, and astrology does not. But still, that's no reason to just diss astrology, to put it that way, because you can still practically benefit from it, despite the fact that it might not get you directly um, get you results directly. It might not get you direct results, but bottom line is that it's one hell of a stepping stone. It's one hell of a stepping stone to getting actual results. Otherwise, you're just like I said, you have no idea what you're doing in general, and you're pretty much approaching every situation with an attitude along the lines of just hope for the best. And in real life, now hoping for the best, I dislike that saying immensely. I don't hate that saying, but I dislike it because when people use the phrase "hope for the best," that means that yeah, they don't expect the situation to work out realistically, and more often than not, it simply does not. So you can imagine. I'm not kidding. In my own personal life, I I really wouldn't. I simply can't, literally cannot imagine my life without astrology. For me, astrology is no different than having a clock or a cell phone. For me, it's simply a matter of, oh, look at the time, as in, okay, let's see what we've got, let me see what's going to happen here. It's that simple to me. It's integrated in my life, and yeah, without it, like I said, I wouldn't even come close to being who I am. No. Hello, so Rick Paul. Rick Paul says I'm still learning the basics of energy work. Yeah, and that's fine. You got to start somewhere. Okay, every great journey has to begin with one single step. So yeah, you obviously need to learn the basics first before you move on to actual things. And yeah, that's it pretty much. Like I said, for people that don't really have, generally speaking, a lot of questions in their life, and they simply want to know how things are going to work out on a frequent basis, and they're simply of the opinion that, hey, it's not worth buying your course, Marino Ravenberg. It's not worth learning astrology. It's not worth the trouble for me overall, because I don't often ask myself these questions, or I don't often come across situations where I need to make important life decisions, like buying a house or buying a car, or it just straight up doesn't interest me, which is highly unlikely. And that's fine as well, but that's also why I offer it as a service. And, if you have a serious question, you can simply ask me, and that's it. By default, okay. A simple yes or no answer and related is $50 with me, so I can check for you, and it's going to not even going to take long. Usually it takes what, if I immediately get on it, it's less than half an hour, pretty much, practically guaranteed. If you really want to know everything into detail, then it's only 225, and the course itself is even cheaper than the occult course, which is only 700. Just so people hold on, just so people I'm just simply going to copy and paste it in the search bar, just so people there are no confusions, etc. Uh, in case people missed it, because people have a tendency to miss a lot of my stuff. A lot of people still haven't watched, I think, the majority of my videos. They've watched a handful of videos, maybe a dozen or over a dozen even, but they haven't watched everything in detail, which is fine. I'm not saying that you have to watch everything in detail. You have to watch every video I have out there, but yeah, it's just surprising. And only when I bring up the situation will people actually say, "Oh, okay, I didn't even know that you had a video on that." It just goes on and on and on. But yeah, that's why I have hundreds of videos, also hundreds of articles. In any case, not to drift off course. That's it in relation to astrology, pretty much. So, like I said, if you have any questions that you're stuck with, anything that you've got on your mind, you want to know what this person thinks about you, how that person feels about you, just contact me and we're good to go. Okay. And if you're seriously interested in the course, especially if you're a magical practitioner, regardless of what kind of magic you practice or what kind of occult techniques you practice, yeah, I would really strongly recommend the course. And it's not even something that's going to take like what, a year, for example. No, 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 no. The course, you can easily learn everything, even if you just occupy yourself with it, what, an hour a day? You'll be done in less than a month, 3 weeks tops, and then you're pretty much done with everything. And yeah, you can apply it in day-to-day life for the rest of your life. It's not a one-time quick fix or something that will only last a short while. No, 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 no. It's for the rest of your life, to the point where you can easily know something, as in, hey, I want to know what his or her motivations are. What does this guy think about me? Is it a good idea to how does my, even if it doesn't matter whether it's loved ones, you name it, okay, is it a good idea to get married? How does my spouse feel about me, or my spouse to be? How does my thingy feel about me, my loved one? It just goes on and on and on and on and on and on and on. Whether it's for occult work or mundane work, as in, hey, will working with this spirit bring about results, and if so, in which way, and in what way, and how does that spirit feel about me? You name it, whatever you want to come up with. I do recommend, though, to not go overboard. Generally speaking, nothing in excess is good. Some things are good in excess, but generally speaking, there is such a thing as too much of the good stuff. And yeah, I agree with that sentiment, with the saying in that sentiment, with the sentiment in that saying. I I wouldn't recommend you casting charts for every little thing willy nilly. No, 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 no. Cast charts for important things, things that are really worth paying attention to, and things that you really want. Okay, as in you are specifically in that mindset. You're specifically in that mindset or mind frame along the lines of I want to know whether this is a good idea. It's obviously a lot better than actually simply bickering over it and thinking about it. Hey, is this going to be a good idea? Is this going to be a good idea? Just psyching yourself out for nothing and to only fail miserably in the end or similar. To simply just walk into a situation head first or long without being able to actually have an idea as to what the outcome is going to be. No, again, I'm referring to my example. Imagine if weather forecast didn't exist, and you're someone that specifically is reliant upon the weather. You need nice, shiny weather. You need the sun shining brightly, etc. And then boom, you go to a specific place, and it turns out that it's raining like hell, and it ruins your entire day, and you cannot commit to whatever objective you wanted to commit to. You didn't. You weren't able to do whatever you wanted to do. That's my point exactly. So imagine what kind of a tremendous setback that would be for society, whether it's something casual or something non-casual, whether you're a meteorologist or whether you're someone that just is going for a nature hike, or you're just going to go jogging, and yeah, the rain ruins your entire jog because what, you didn't have access to a weather application, you didn't have access to a simple weather forecast that told you that, hey, it's going to rain, so take an umbrella with you or don't go jogging. So yeah, that is pretty much it. I'm wondering if anyone has any questions. Does anyone have any questions relating to this topic, or by, to a lesser extent, off topic? Uh, I'll give people a second to see if they have any questions. Although I don't think so. I'm assuming that everything is clear. So yeah, again, to repeat myself or to reiterate, the course itself is only $700 with the 50% discount. It's only $700. I am open to payments. It all depends on you, of course. Only as an exceptional case will I accommodate people through a payment plan. But yeah, I am open to the idea. But customers of mine already know that. And generally speaking, a simple reading is $50. An extensive one, I'm not talking about a really extensive reading where you want to know everything in the little itty bitty detail, is only $225. Um, and once again, I remind people that what I'm doing is is really, I'm really going out on a limb for people, because generally speaking, my prices are twice as high. That's what they've been for the past years. Okay, generally, a general charge is $100. Extensive information is $450, and the course is $1,500. So yeah, the 50% off. This is not 10 or 20% off. This is 50% off, half off. It's like selling a pair of shoes that costs $500 for only $250. So yeah, Rick Poole is asking me, have you tried astral projection or soul travel? Yeah, I've tried astral projection. Soul travel, honestly, is iffy. Soul travel, I'm not even sure that it exists. I'd have to look into it. That's because your soul is more fixed. But yeah, you're referring to astral projection in general. Yeah, I have an article on that. Just go to my website and look for. Hold on, I'll send you the link. Give me a second. Either go to my website or just follow the link that I'm about to send to you. I have an article with a matching video on astral traveling. Hold on, where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Astral travel. Oh yeah, sorry. Sorry, nah, not my mistake. Thing, I simply misspoke. I don't have a thingy on it. I don't have an article on it. I meant I have a video on it. Hold on, I'll send you the link to the video. Open. A second. Give me a second, please. Yeah, that's the link to the video. That's the link to the video. So yeah. Um. So that is it. I don't really have anything else to say regarding the subject matter that I've discussed. And keep in mind that, of course, astrology is a lot more expansive. You've got natal astrology, which gives you an overview of your personality so that you know exactly what your strengths and weaknesses are. A lot of people fail in life because they simply don't know what their strengths and weaknesses are. They have no idea what they're good at, what they're not naturally good at, and which direction to go in. Okay, imagine if I simply said to myself, you know what, I'm not going to become an occultist or anything like that, because I didn't know what my strengths and skills were, and I simply went about daily life. Honestly, I'd still I'd have nothing compared to by my own standards. I'd be a 10-time loser. I'd simply be working some job as cheap labor for the purposes of cheap labor or for the sake of cheap labor. I simply have nothing to show for my life, literally nothing. And yeah, with the majority of people, like, all they can say is, okay, I'm just doing my best. Well, the reality is that your best 9 out of 10 times is not good enough, doesn't even come close to being good enough. You'll simply be stuck working at McDonald's when you have untapped potential, but yeah, you don't use it. So it's either that or another cleaning job or something that is not mention worthy, to be honest. It's literally like throwing away gold, literally like throwing away gold because you simply didn't know that it was gold. You weren't aware of its value. And of course, you're not going to live forever. It just goes on. I've already discussed natal astrology in detail in the past through articles as well as numerous videos. So I'm not going to discuss that again. You could simply check out the. I'm simply going to share the link thereof as well in the description. Give me a second again. Give me a second. Uh, yeah, that's the link on natal astrology, the video specifically denoting the benefits, etc., etc. Yeah, and that's the problem with people. They simply don't make use of it because, generally speaking, they're not serious. They want things to come to them easily without having to actually bust their asses. And the problem with that is that you're going to bust your ass for the rest of your life without any real benefit. Of course, listen, not everyone is cut out for it. Some people are simply meant for it and others are not. But still, you can expect something of tremendous value to come to you easily. You know, you simply can't expect that. It's unrealistic to expect that. Rome wasn't built in a day. Literally speaking, it took Rome what, years? I think a century to get where it's at. At least a century to turn into the Rome that we all know. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm assuming that no one else has any other questions. I'll give people a minute and uh, Rick Poole says you bust your ass for pennies and stress. I'm assuming that you're not referring to me. You're just speaking in general. To that that people bust their ass for pennies and stress. Yeah, that's true. I know. I've been there. Okay, been there, done that. It's yeah, it's not worth it, honestly. At a certain point you just become mentally fatigued, and you get fed up with it all because you're not seeing yourself go anywhere. You're like, okay, wow, this is it, nothing, nada, zip. Um, so yeah, again, I'll give people a brief minute, a second, whatever, just a couple of moments to ask if they have anything else to say, any other questions, either relating to the topic and not related to the topic. Repulses that happened to me early on. Yeah, I know. I think we've all been there more or less. Minimum wage, all of the crap, the whole 9 yards. Okay, the struggle is real for a lot of people. For me, the struggle was real, but it didn't matter. At least, bottom line is, I knew where I was going. In the last year of me just busting my ass, I had a clear focus and purpose and vision. And yeah, time is obviously long over. Uh, so yeah, no one else has anything else to say really. Like I said, this was going to be a short live stream, close to half an hour, 27 minutes. If no one else has anything else to say or any other mentions or questions relating to the topic, then yeah, I'm gonna close off the stream. Yeah. So yeah. So yeah, I'll see you guys later in any case. Oh, someone I haven't seen before called Miranka Media says I have a question. Okay, go ahead. I'm all ears. Unrelated to the topic. Yeah, fine. Go ahead. Go ahead. I'm listening. As an occultist who acknowledges the Judgment Day, mhm, and typing. Still waiting for the reply or the question, the actual question. How do you perceive your outcome considering your occult endeavors? Yeah, I know what you're getting at. You're thinking to yourself, you're asking me basically whether I think that I'm going to heaven or I'm going to hell. Understand that it's not a black and white matter, okay? Regardless of who you are or what you are, okay? Assuming that you either believe in Judgment Day, but regardless of whether you what you believe, the Judgment Day will come, okay, where you're spiritually going to be judged for all of your actions and deeds or misdeeds. And yes, your final fate will be decided by higher up, regardless of whether you believe in that or not. That's going to happen. Fact of the matter is that that's going to happen. Um, I don't dawdle on it. I don't dwell on it because I am fine, perfectly fine with whatever higher up has in store for me. Since I'm a Christian, like I said, I don't care. Okay, I accept God's decision when the time comes, regardless of what decision that will be, because it's out of my hands. The same way that being born and destiny overall is out of my hands. Um, and yeah, I'm assuming that you're also, based on your question, Meronka Media, you also tend to think that you most likely also, based on the question or the nature of the question, you also tend to think, I'm assuming that you also tend to think, I'm assuming that practicing the occult is evil because the Bible says so. No, 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 no. No, you're completely misinterpreting it. Okay, a lot of people misinterpret a lot of stuff in the Bible. That's one of the biggest problems that the Bible has had. Bottom line is that no, the occult is not evil. That magic and witchcraft are specifically prohibited. No, the use of it for, or better said, the misusing of it to hurt innocent people and to take advantage of people, that is wrong. But the law of karma automatically applies. But aside from karma actually coming back to bite you in the ass, as a practitioner, you'll also have to pay penance for it in the spiritual world when the day comes that you'll be judged. That's going to, because that's an extra big sin. It's an extra big sin, similar to suicide, for example. But it's not something that one should worry about. I have told people this in the past. As an occultist, you don't worry about stuff like that. Even as a screw occultist, as a person, you don't worry about whether you're going to heaven and hell. Accept your fate, since regardless of what that fate might be, since you have no control over anything, you have no control over the fact that you were born. Life itself is just handed to you, and you have to make do with it. You have no choice in the matter, no such thing as free will. Your entire existence, everything you say and do and act upon, it's all premeditated. You're nothing more than a puppet that's being hung up by a couple of strings. And yeah, God is the puppet master, and you have no say in the matter whatsoever. So why even bother with thinking like that? Not at all. And in an occult context, Jesus and all the others, okay, the things that these guys did also makes them occultists, the miracles that they performed and whatnot. So yeah, that's to answer your question. Dice Controller is asking me whether I have any gnosis about the grid going down. I've heard the electricity will be off for months from EMP possibility. Have you heard of any catastrophe on the way in November? No. We were told to store 3 months of water and food. I have no idea who told you that, but no. Seems like a conspiracy theory. Maronka Media says, thank you, Marino. Yeah, you're welcome. Tracks them. He says, what do you find the best method of summoning Mamo? For the so many a time, regardless of what kind of spirit you want to summon, tracks them. Or whatever your name is, sorry. I I already replied to a comment that you made. I think on the Lucifer video I have. There is no best way to summon a specific spirit. Okay, regardless of what kind of spirit you want to summon, the best method I find, as you like to put it, is the magical system I practice, which is Western ceremonial magic. So you can summon any spirit you want, including Mamon, including anyone you can think of. So it's not limited to a specific spirit. People ask this question so many times through on so many videos, and honestly, it's just I'm wondering what the hell people are thinking. That you need a specific system for summoning a specific spirit. I don't blame these people. Obviously, these people know nothing about the occult, but they know little to nothing about the occult. You're welcome to ask questions as a complete thingy, as a muggle, so to speak, or as a complete novice or someone that doesn't know anything or knows only has superficial knowledge on the occult. But still, that's it in any case. Meron Media is asking me whether I have any experience with Leviathan. No, I don't have any experience with Leviathan. Dice Control says thank you, Maureen. Thanks so much. Yeah, Shay. Joe Araujo. I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly. Joe Araujo says hello, Marino. What's your opinion on concerning the U.S. election? Who's going to win? I honestly, my money's on Trump. Something really has to go wrong for Trump to lose, because it's not like he has a lot. He has a lot. It's not even like he has anyone tangible in the way of competition. Dementia, Joe Biden. No, 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 no. that can't even tell the difference between a chair and a table. No, there are no other candidates, Democratic candidates. But yeah, I'm a heavy Republican, so yeah, I'm obviously for Trump. Um, Rick Bull says, well, it's really hard, honestly. When I started, there really wasn't a lot of information on summoning. Yeah, I understand that. Yeah, there's not a lot of information on anything out there. Primarily, for the most part, my articles pop up when it comes to summoning. I know because I had to deal with the same thing as a beginner. I nothing but misinformation and barely any information. No one that can really show you the way. But of course, that's why I'm here to actually show you the way. So yeah, that's all in any case, people. I'm assuming that no one else has any other questions or anything like that. And if that's the case, then yeah, that has been it for this live stream. I want to thank everyone. I want to thank everyone in advance for tuning in, and I'll see you guys around. Joe Arau says thank you very much for the answer. Sure, no problem. And yeah, I'll see you guys later then. Thanks in any case for stopping by, for watching. Bye.